Here in Scituate today, we are crisscrossing the district on this less than 72-hour period on this Halloween weekend. And you know, if you want to know something really scary on this Halloween weekend, is Nancy Pelosi being in charge for 2 more years. That's really scary to me. So if you think about it, Vice President Biden's here, Nancy Pelosi's here, and what have they done for the last 2 years? Does anybody want to answer that question?
Nothing.
Well, we don't know what they've done for the last 2 years, because quite frankly, even though the Vice President flew into town to bolster their candidate today, they didn't talk about their accomplishments for the last 2 years. What they talked about was blaming President Bush, and that's not what the American people want. The American people have some serious concerns about the direction of our country, and there's some big differences between my vision of the future and Mr. Keating's vision for the future. And that can be something so simple and so symbolic as what we would do as the first day as the next congressman. I will not vote for Nancy Pelosi for the next speaker. Mr. Keating has not said whether or not he'd vote for Nancy Pelosi for the next speaker. It can be something as so difficult as health care reform. I will vote to repeal Obamacare. I will vote to reinstate the $500 billion cut that has come with Obamacare to Medicare. Think about it. A $500 billion cut is what happened for the people who support Obamacare. That is endangering the health care of our seniors. I want to go down to Washington to repeal Obamacare and work on the cost side of our health care system. Do things like tort reform. Mr. Keating said in a debate he was against tort reform. I have no idea why anyone in America would be against tort reform to reduce our health care costs. I want to go down to Washington to work on the problems of illegal immigration. I oppose all forms of amnesty. Mr. Keating won't answer that question. I want to go down there and make sure there's no more giveaways, no more stimulus bills, no more bailouts. Mr. Keating has flip-flopped on that issue. First he was for the bailout, then he said he was against the bailout, and then now he's for the bailout again. No more bailouts for me, straight talk. It can be something as simple as Cape Wind. I'm opposed to Cape Wind. It's a $600 million giveaway, subsidy giveaway, including to 13 communities in this 10th district, 60% higher electrical rates. Even Ted Kennedy Jr. today said, Mr. Keating is wrong, Deval Patrick is wrong, Cape Wind is wrong. So whatever the issue is, the voters have a real clear choice. Do they want to send someone down to Washington who's ready on day one to be the next congressman, someone who's going to keep our taxes low, reduce spending, reform health care, do something on the problems of illegal immigration, send a new direction for this country by removing Nancy Pelosi? Or do the voters want to send Mr. Keating down to Washington, who's going to vote for Nancy Pelosi on day one, who's going to raise our taxes on January 1st, who's going to give away money in our stimulus, who's going to increase our electrical rates with Cape Wind? They have a real clear choice. They also have a real clear choice in the manner and the character in which these campaigns have been run. 100% of my TV ads, 100% of my radio ads, 100% of my mailings have been positive. No character assassinations. I will not throw mud at anyone to try to build my campaign up. I think you know what's been happening with Mr. Keating and the people who support him. He has run, and the people who support him have run the most disgusting campaign that I think most of you can remember in Massachusetts politics. 100% of his TV ads are negative. All of the radio ads that the people who support him are negative. Most of the mailings, dozens and dozens and dozens of mailings, have been nothing about lying about my position, such as Social Security and taxes, or personal character attacks. So I'm here to say, as we crisscross the district, the voters have a clear choice. Someone who takes the tough stances on issues, someone who has a proven legislative record, someone who has solutions to the problems facing this country, someone who does it in a positive manner, or they can send somebody down to support Vice President Biden, President Obama, re-elect Nancy Pelosi, and continue the failed policies of this administration. I think the choice is very clear, and I ask for your vote on Tuesday, November 2nd. Has a question, we'll be happy to take them. Otherwise, we're going to go back and wave at the random cars going by.
Real quickly, Keating today was talking a lot about character. Obviously, you portray him as putting out character assassination. What do you think it says about his character, the ad he's running, and the way he's gone about this campaign?
Well, I think you have two choices in a campaign. You can talk about your record, as I have in the state legislature. You can talk about your vision, or you can try to win an election by tearing someone else's character down and spending 100% of your time and energy. You know, he set the stage on his primary night. He went negative with his own voice on primary night. I will never try to win an election by tearing somebody else down and doing personal character attacks. I beat an incumbent, Democratic incumbent, in 2002. I've been reelected 3 times, and I won a tough primary against a former statewide elected official without any mudslinging or negative character attacks. We're going to win this election because we're right on the issues, and I'm going to leave it up to the voters to decide what they think of the character of a person who runs 100% negative campaigning.
Do you think he's campaigning scared now? You bring in Biden, you bring in Kerry, you bring in a lot of big names on this final weekend. What do you think that says about where he's at?
Well, I think it's pretty clear what's going on here. Even the polls that were released today by some media outlets, the Boston Herald, the Cape Cod Times had a poll that we're up. We raised more money last week than any other week in the campaign. We've been endorsed by some really key entities here, the U.S. Chamber, the National Federation of Business, Independent Business, and I think the biggest endorsement was the state police. There's 2 unions in the state police who chose to endorse my campaign. I'm a former police officer. He's a sitting district attorney. They know us pretty well. They had the excuse that they could have stayed out of this race. They looked at both of our records, they had us in for interviews, and they decided, both independent, both state police unions decided to endorse me rather than the guy they work for. I think that says a lot about what's going on at the end of this campaign.